So next up is the bone nut and saddle. Fortunately, I've got a pre-shaped nut that actually fits perfectly, so I'm going to use this. And first thing is what I'm going to do is use a little shaved off pencil, run it across, and just mark off where I'm going to trim it down to, and then pop that in the vise, trim that down, and then glue it in. So I've gone ahead and just filed the top of that down a little bit. You can see the pencil mark that is on there. Rounded it off a touch. Now I'm just going to take it on some sort of 320 grit used paper that I had before, and just on the carpeted surface of my bench, just use that to smoothen out all the file marks on top and clean that off. Okay, so done some preliminary polishing up. It's all ready to go in. Some medium viscosity super glue. I've obviously cleaned out this channel already, the blade and stuff. Medium viscosity super glue, just a couple of little drops there. And very carefully sharpening it in to make sure that the sides are equidistant. And I'm happy with that. Done. Now I can carry on getting the saddle ready. So next up, I'm just going to clean up this bridge a little bit. I've already done some of the string ramps with the Dremel, just guided them in, which I'll clean up now. I'm just going to clean the top of this bridge up, and then I'll get onto the saddle. So I've gone ahead and finished cleaning the bridge up, and I've cut the saddle and shaped the top. So the saddle is now at a 10-inch radius on top, which is slightly tighter than the 12-inch radius on the fingerboard. I've done this to account for the extra space that the G and the D strings need, so the extra wiggle room. So yeah, I'll later on when I'm doing a setup, I'll basically use it on the belt sander and just take a lot of material off the bottom to bring down the action. But now I'm going to switch over to the install of the pickup. Okay, so LR Baggs StagePro Element going in. I've already taken the outer ring, the mounting ring, put it over the old hole from this guy, and just scribed in on the inside. Now obviously there's a lip, so I've got to account for that. Tape it off, and I'm going to Dremel that out for that to fit. Got to be careful because we need to provide for screw holes as well, and that's probably the major sort of adjustments to the guitar to receive this pickup. Okay, cut that out and check fitting the frame. Just going to line it up with the front binding and then drill the holes for these screws to go through. They'll go through and connect to the unit below. So not to screw into this wood, but just go through this wood. So holes need to be that big. Okay, so the LR Baggs StagePro Element comes with 3 units. Comes with this preamp sort of section, the EQ, and the battery pack and a tuner built in. And it comes with the undersaddle guy, and it comes with the jack unit. And it's so simple, they also all plug into each other. Very simply, you see those 4 holes over there. Those are the screws that come through the frame on the top. Mount that in, that's mounted in. The output goes to the jack, the input goes to this guy. So I'm going to go ahead and mount it all in. The jack needs a 1/2 inch hole in the back where your strap button was, so you needed to take care of that as well before you even do that. Right, this guy's in, and that guy's in, and this guy's in. What this under saddle part needs is a hole right here You follow the guidelines for that because it's quite a particular way to do that. What I do is I put a little hole on this side going in that direction just to tuck in the tip of this so that you get good contact over here. Otherwise, sometimes your little E doesn't get picked up. Another thing to make sure of is that the bottom side of your saddle slot is nice and smooth and clean. So what I might do is just run a saddle cleaning file in there. Okay, so it's time to cut the nut slots and set this baby up. Got the old nut over here, and the easiest thing to do would be to just, mark off the slots identically to where these slots are. But I've just refretted this girl, and I've got some nice bevels on here, and I've created a lot of fret area, so we can actually open it up a little bit more and just give it some easier string spacing. So I've decided to go for a little bit wider string spacing than a Les Paul, which is right here. But what I'm going to first do is find my center point. I don't want to be a muppet and have my strings looking a bit wonky with the center, with the dot markers going down the fingerboard. So it's a 43.5 mil wide, 44 mil wide fingerboard. So marking there. That's where I wanted to. I'm still looking both at the other marking with lining up with my marking and the outer points, the spacing on the other side of the outer points of the actual markings that I will go with. I'm happy with that. Give myself some guide points. I'm more in control by lying this rule behind the nut than lying it on top and using the little slots to move my little pencil lead through. I just feel like I'm more in control of this. I can see what's going on. I'm happy with that. So I'll first start off taking my nut files. You can see them there. I'll just make some initial markings. Not very deep, so that I've got the opportunity to move them around later. Just for my strings to rest in. I'm not too phased about the actual size of these slots as yet. That's the finer tuning that happens later. Okay, got a few grooves in here. And next I'll string her up and start getting the slots properly aligned. Strings are on. Immediately I can see that I want these three to come out a little bit, spread open a little bit, which I can take care of very easily just by moving the nut slot over a bit. And then this guy, just a touch. And then this guy. I might just come across a bit different file. Let's see. Much better. Immediately you can see a better string spacing. We're centered down across the center dots, and I'm happy. I'll start checking the action and going from there. Okay, so I've set the action at the saddle, I've set the action at the nut now. I'm really happy. I'm just going to remove the strings, just bring down the nut a touch, and repolish it up at the top, and then I'm done. Don't always use fingers. It's all about time. I'm just taping this guy off. You know what your mom said, always use protection. How low do you go? Well, you want very little of your string to sit below the edge of the nut. So below the surface, should I say. Almost there. Back to 320 grit. Actually, when you're filing it down, you've got to account for a little bit of how much material you're going to take off when you're sanding too. You know, you can't just go gung-ho and, you know, file it down to the narrowest of margins. But then when you're sanding to get rid of all the file marks and smoothing things over, you might end up with a nut slot that's too shallow. And I have done that before. Nothing like first-hand experience learned by mistakes. Just looking in the light for file marks. I do also just kiss the front face with this just to take off the edge. Obviously I'm not touching the bottom of the nut slots, so I'm not affecting intonation at all. I'm just giving it that older sort of played in feel. I'll switch over to my 800 grit. It is 25 minutes to midnight, so I am keen to finish this one off. It's always nice to work when the house is quiet. And then lastly, I usually go for a sanding pad of sorts. Where's the one that I always use now? There it is. Oh yeah. There she starts to shine. You know, you've just got to go through the stages. You can't jump straight to 800 grit and then this, because you'll have sanding marks or file marks left behind. And it's just pays off when you get to that end result. And I'm happy with that. I'm very happy with that. Beautiful. Nothing quite like polishing a nut just before midnight, eh? Sorry. Guitar humor. There we go. She is done. Thank you for watching. I hopefully will do another video soon. But as for this girl, she is a wrap. Let's have a look. There's a note. Standstill frets. Bone saddle. You see where those string ramps come into play there. Just to give you some extra pressure on the saddle. And then LR Baggs StagePro. Excuse my earlier Studio Pro faux pas. There she is. Thank you for watching. Please click subscribe and share. Would dig to get this video out there a bit more, and you know, if anything I do that can help someone else, then fantastic. Good night.